Today is the 18th of July 2009. We are going through the Samyutta Nikaya Suttas. Now we come to the 5th Samyutta, which is the Bhikkhuni Samyutta. Bhikkhuni is nuns. The monks were called bhikkhus, the nuns were called bhikkhunis. So this chapter has all to do with the nuns. 5.4. At Savati, then in the morning, the Bhikkhuni Vijaya, dressed and taking bowl and robe, entered Savati for alms. When she had walked for alms in Savati and had returned from her alms round, after her meal she went to the blind man's grove for the day's abiding. Having plunged into the blind man's grove, she sat down at the foot of a tree for the day's abiding. Then Mara, the evil one, desiring to arouse fear, trepidation and terror in the Bhikkhuni Vijaya, desiring to make her fall away from concentration, approached her and addressed her in verse. You are so young and beautiful, and I too am a youth in my prime. Come, noble lady, let us rejoice with the music of a five-fold ensemble. Then it occurred to the Bhikkhuni Vijaya, now who is this that recited the verse, a human being or a non-human being? Then it occurred to her, this is Mara, the evil one, who has recited the verse, desiring to arouse fear, trepidation and terror in me, desiring to make me fall away from concentration. Then the Bhikkhuni Vijaya, having understood this is Mara, the evil one, replied to him in verses, forms, sounds, tastes, odors and delightful tactile objects, I offer them right back to you, for I, O Mara, do not need them. I am repelled and humiliated by this foul, putrid body, subject to break up, fragile. I have uprooted sensual craving. As to those beings who fare amidst form, and those who abide in the formless, and those peaceful attainments too, everywhere darkness has been destroyed. Then Mara, the evil one, realizing the Bhikkhuni Vijaya knows me, sad and disappointed, disappeared right there. That's the end of the sutta. So this young beautiful nun, she was alone in the deep forest, and this Mara came to try to frighten her. During the Buddha's earlier days of the Buddha's ministry, when the Sangha was new, the Buddha allowed nuns to live alone, and later many of the nuns were raped. So after that, the Buddha did not allow nuns to stay alone, did not allow them to go into the forest alone and all that. So this Bhikkhuni Vijaya was already an Arahant when Mara came. So that's why she said, I am repelled and humiliated by this foul, putrid body. Most of us, we are very proud of our body. We think we are so beautiful or handsome. But in the case of this Arahant, she is repelled by her own body. You can see that the body is so dirty. And she says that she has uprooted sensual craving as to those beings who fare amidst form and in the formless. That means she has no desire to be reborn in the form realm or the formless realm. So Mara left her alone. 5.5 Sutta is about Upalavana. The Buddha has two chief nun disciples, just like Sariputta and Moggallana representing the monks. The two nuns, the two chief nuns are Khema and Upalavana. Khema was foremost among the nuns in wisdom, and Upalavana was foremost in psychic powers. In the sutta, sometimes we find Upalavana, she comes to visit the Buddha in the middle of the night, around midnight, and she flies using her psychic power. And sometimes when she comes, she finds that the Buddha is occupied with devas. Then she stands in the mid-air waiting. When the Buddha is free, then she comes down to talk to the Buddha. And generally the Buddha did not talk much to the nuns except to the Arahants. So at Savatthi, in the morning the Bhikkhuni Upalavana dressed and taking bowl and robe entered Savatthi for alms. Then after she had eaten, she went into the blind man's grove as before. And she stood at the foot of a sal tree in full flower. Then Mara, the evil one, desiring to arouse fear, trepidation and terror in the Bhikkhuni Upalavana, desiring to make her fall away from concentration, approached her and addressed her in verse. Having gone to a sal tree with flowering top, you stand at its foot all alone, Bhikkhuni. There is none whose beauty rivals yours. Foolish girl, aren't you afraid of ropes? Then it occurred to the Bhikkhuni Upalavana, now who is this? And she realized, this is Mara, the evil one, desiring to make me fall away from concentration. Then the Bhikkhuni Upalavana, having understood, this is Mara, the evil one, replied to him in verses, though 100,000 rogues, just like you, might come here, I stir not a hair, I feel no terror. Even alone, Mara, I don't fear you. I can make myself disappear, or I can enter inside your belly. I can stand between your eyebrows, yet you won't catch a glimpse of me. I am the master of my mind. The basis of psychic power are well developed. I am free from all bondage. Therefore, I don't fear you, friend. Then Mara, the evil one, realizing the Bhikkhuni Upalavana knows me, sad and disappointed, disappeared right there. So you see what the Upalavana said, that she can disappear and enter Mara's stomach, belly, and stand between his eyebrows and all that. Her psychic power was very great. So that's why she was not afraid of Mara. 5.9 at Savatthi. Then in the morning the Bhikkhuni Sela dressed as before. She went on alms round, and after alms round entered the deep forest. Then she sat down at the foot of a tree for the day's abiding. Then Mara, the evil one, desiring to arouse fear, trepidation and terror in the Bhikkhuni Sela, desiring to make her fall away from concentration, approached her and addressed her in verse. By whom has this puppet been created? Who is the maker of the puppet? Where has the puppet arisen? Where does the puppet cease? Then it occurred to the Bhikkhuni Sela, now who is this? And then she realized, this is Mara, the evil one, desiring to make me fall away from concentration. Then the Bhikkhuni Sela, having understood, this is Mara, the evil one, replied to him in verses, this puppet is not made by itself, nor is this misery made by another. It has come to be dependent on the cause. With the causes break up, it will cease. As when a seed is sown in a field, it grows depending on a pair of factors. It requires both the soil's nutrients and a steady supply of moisture. Just so, the aggregates and elements, and these 6 bases of sensory contact, have come to be dependent on the cause. If the causes break up, they will cease. Then Mara, the evil one, realizing the Bhikkhuni Sela knows me, sad and disappointed, disappeared right there. So this is another Arahant, and she says, this puppet, that means this body, is not made by anyone. It arises due to causes and conditions, and it will cease due to causes and conditions. The next sutta, 5.10. At Savatthi, then in the morning the Bhikkhuni Vajira dressed, and taking bowl and robe entered Savatthi for alms. When she had walked for alms in Savatthi and had returned from her alms round, after her meal she went to the blind man's grove for the day's abiding. Having plunged into the blind man's grove, she sat down at the foot of a tree for the day's abiding. Then Mara, the evil one, desiring to arouse fear, trepidation and terror in the Bhikkhuni Vajira, desiring to make her fall away from concentration, approached her and addressed her in verse. By whom has this being been created? Where is the maker of the being? Where has the being arisen? Where does the being cease? Then it occurred to the Bhikkhuni Vajira, now who is this that recited the verse, a human being or a non-human being? Then it occurred to her, this is Mara, the evil one, who has recited the verse desiring to arouse fear, trepidation and terror in me, desiring to make me fall away from concentration. Then the Bhikkhuni Vajira, having understood this is Mara the evil one, replied to him in verses. Why now do you assume a being, Mara? This is your speculative view. Is that your speculative view? This is a heap of sheer formations. Here no being is found. Just as with the assemblage of parts, the word chariot is used, so when the aggregates exist, there is the convention of a being. It is only suffering that comes to be, suffering that stands and falls away. Nothing but suffering comes to be. Nothing but suffering ceases. Then Mara, the evil one, realizing the Bhikkhuni Vajira knows me, sad and disappointed, disappeared right there. So these verses of this Arahant Vajira are also quite interesting. He says, why do you assume that there is a being? He says there is no being. Just like a chariot, a horse chariot, when all the parts are put together, you call it a chariot. But when you take apart all the parts of the chariot, there is no chariot. This is just a condition, a temporary condition. So in the same way, our body and our mind, the five aggregates, when you put them together, you think that there is a being. But one day, because it's a temporary condition, one day it will all fall apart. And so there is ultimately no being, because everything is impermanent. There's no thing in our body or in our mind that does not change. So because it is a constant flux of conditions, there's no thing we can identify as ourselves that doesn't change. That's why this principle of anatta in Buddhism, sometimes they translate as soul. It's not that there is no soul, it's that there is no permanent thing that does not change. Everything is a flux. We come to the next Samyutta, number 6, Brahma Samyutta. These Brahmas are heavenly beings. They are in the first jhana plane, the lowest of the form realm. And they have great psychic power. According to the suttas, the light they emit is so powerful. It reaches 1,000 world systems, and that is the minimum. And sometimes reach 10,000 world systems, and sometimes even more. So the first sutta, thus have I heard, on one occasion the Blessed One was dwelling at Uruvela on the bank of the river Niranjara, at the foot of the goat herd's banyan tree, just after he had become fully enlightened. Then while the Blessed One was alone in seclusion, a reflection arose in his mind thus: this Dhamma that I have discovered is deep, hard to see, hard to understand, peaceful and sublime, not within the sphere of reasoning, subtle, to be experienced by the wise. But this generation delights in adhesion. Here adhesion means clinging. Takes delight in adhesion, rejoices in adhesion. For such a generation, this state is hard to see. That is, specific conditionality, dependent origination. And this state too is hard to see. That is, the stilling of all formations, the relinquishment of all acquisitions. Here acquisitions, also another translation, is attachments. Relinquishment of all attachments. The destruction of craving, dispassion, cessation, nibbana. If I were to teach the Dhamma and if others would not understand me, that would be wearisome for me. That would be troublesome. Thereupon these astounding verses, not heard before in the past, occurred to the Blessed One. Enough now with trying to teach. What I found with so much hardship, this Dhamma is not easily understood by those oppressed by lust and hate. Those fired by lust, obscured by darkness, will never see this abstruse Dhamma, deep, hard to see, subtle, going against the stream. As the Blessed One reflected thus, his mind inclined to living at ease, not to teaching the Dhamma. Then Brahma Sahampati, having known with his own mind the reflection in the Blessed One's mind, thought, alas, the world is lost. Alas, the world is to perish, in that the mind of the Tathagata, the Arahant, Sammasambuddha, inclines to living at ease, not to teaching the Dhamma. Then, just as quickly as a strong man might extend his drawn-in arm or draw in his extended arm, Brahma Sahampati disappeared from the Brahma world and reappeared before the Blessed One. He arranged his upper robe over one shoulder, knelt down with his right knee on the ground, raised his joined hands in reverential salutation towards the Blessed One, and said to him, "Venerable Sir, let the Blessed One teach the Dhamma. Let the Fortunate One teach the Dhamma. There are beings with little dust in their eyes who are falling away because they do not hear the Dhamma. There will be those who will understand the Dhamma." This is what Brahma Sahampati said. Having said this, he further said, "In the past there appeared among the Magadhans an impure Dhamma devised by those still stained. Throw open this door to the deathless. Let them hear the Dhamma that the stainless one discovered." Just as one standing on a mountain peak might see below the people all around, so, wise one, universal eye, ascend the palace made of the Dhamma. Being yourself free from sorrow, behold the people submerged in sorrow, oppressed by birth and decay. Rise up, O hero, victor in battle, caravan leader, debt-free one. Wander in the world, teach the Dhamma, Blessed One. There will be those who will understand. Then the Blessed One, having understood Brahma's request, out of compassion for beings, surveyed the world with the eye of a Buddha. As he did so, the Blessed One saw beings with little dust in their eyes, and with much dust in their eyes, with keen faculties, and with dull faculties, with good qualities, and with bad qualities, easy to teach, and difficult to teach, and a few who dwelt seeing blame and fear in the other world. Just as in a pond of blue or red or white lotuses, some lotuses might be born in the water, grow up in the water, and thrive while submerged in the water, without rising up from the water. Some lotuses might be born in the water, grow up in the water, and stand at an even level with the water. Some lotuses might be born in the water and grow up in the water, but would rise up from the water and stand without being soiled by the water. So too, surveying the world with the eye of a Buddha, the Blessed One saw beings with little dust in their eyes and with much dust in their eyes, with keen faculties and with dull faculties, with good qualities and with bad qualities, easy to teach and hard to teach, and a few who dwelt seeing blame and fear in the other world. Having seen this, he answered Brahma Sahampati in verse, "Open to them are the doors to the deathless. Let those who have ears release faith. Foreseeing trouble, Brahma, I did not speak the refined, sublime Dhamma among human beings." Then Brahma Sahampati, thinking, "The Blessed One has given his consent to my request regarding the teaching of the Dhamma," paid homage to the Blessed One and disappeared right there. That's the end of the sutta here. So here you see, originally the Buddha did not want to teach the Dhamma because he realized that most beings will find it hard to understand the Dhamma because it just goes against the grain, goes against our natural tendencies of greed, hatred and delusion. But because Brahma Sahampati, because his lifespan is so long, he has seen other Buddhas. So because he has seen other Buddhas, when he saw our Buddha, he realized this is someone who can bring the Dhamma to the world and benefit so many people. So when he appealed to the Buddha surveyed the world again and realized there are some people who would be interested to learn the Dhamma and progress. So for the sake of the few, with what he calls little dust in their eyes, then he decided to teach. So actually you see the Buddha originally wanted to be a Pacheka Buddha. So actually a Pacheka Buddha and a Sammasambuddha, there is no difference between them except the fact that one decides to teach and one does not want to teach. The next sutta, 6.2. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Uruvela on the bank of the river Naranjara, at the foot of the goat herd's banyan tree, just after he had become fully enlightened. Then while the Blessed One was alone in seclusion, a reflection arose in his mind thus: One dwells in suffering if one is without reverence and deference. Now what ascetic or Brahmana, holy man, can I honor and respect and dwell in dependence on? Stop here for a moment. You see, even after the Buddha was enlightened, he taught if there's some holy man who is higher than him, then he should pay respect and become a student of that holy man. Then it occurred to the Blessed One, it would be for the sake of fulfilling an unfulfilled aggregate of virtue that I would honor, respect, and dwell in dependence on another ascetic or Brahmana. However, in this world with its devas, Mara and Brahma, in this generation with its ascetics and Brahmanas, its devas and humans, I do not see another ascetic or Brahmana more perfect in virtue than myself, whom I could honor and respect and dwell in dependence on. It would be for the sake of fulfilling an unfulfilled aggregate of concentration that I would honor, respect, and dwell in dependence on another ascetic or Brahmana. However, I do not see another ascetic or Brahmana more perfect in concentration than myself. It would be for the sake of fulfilling an unfulfilled aggregate of wisdom that I would honor, respect, and dwell in dependence on another ascetic or Brahmana. However, I do not see another ascetic or Brahmana more perfect in wisdom than myself. It would be for the sake of fulfilling an unfulfilled aggregate of liberation that I would honor, respect, and dwell in dependence on another ascetic or Brahmana. However, I do not see another ascetic or Brahmana more perfect in liberation than myself. It would be for the sake of fulfilling an unfulfilled aggregate of the knowledge and vision of liberation that I would honor, respect, and dwell in dependence on another ascetic or Brahmana. However, I do not see another ascetic or Brahmana more perfect in the knowledge and vision of liberation than myself, whom I could honor and respect, and on whom I could dwell in dependence. Let me then honor, respect, and dwell in dependence on this very Dhamma to which I have fully awakened. Then having known with his own mind the reflection in the Blessed One's mind, just as quickly as a strong man might extend his drawn-in arm or draw in his extended arm, Brahma Sahampati disappeared from the Brahma world and reappeared before the Blessed One. He rearranged his upper robe over one shoulder, raised his joined hands in reverential salutation towards the Blessed One, and said to him, "So it is, Blessed One, so it is, Fortunate One. Venerable Sir, those who were Arahants, the perfectly enlightened ones, and Sammasambuddhas in the past, those blessed ones too honored, respected, and dwelt in dependence just on the Dhamma itself. Those who will be Arahants, Sammasambuddhas in the future, those blessed ones too will dwell, honor, and respect, and dwell in dependence just on the Dhamma itself. Let the Blessed One too, who is at present the Arahant Sammasambuddha, honor, respect, and dwell in dependence just on the Dhamma itself." This is what Brahma Sahampati said. Having said this, he further said, "The Buddhas of the past, the future Buddhas, and he who is the Buddha now, removing the sorrow of many, all have dwelt, will dwell, and dwell, deeply revering the true Dhamma. For the Buddhas, this is a natural law. Therefore, one desiring his own good, aspiring for spiritual greatness, should deeply revere the true Dhamma, recollecting the Buddha's teaching." That's the end of the sutta. So here you see, the Buddha was thinking if there is a teacher better than himself, he should be a student of that teacher. But when he looked around, he found there was none. So in some other sutta, the Buddha has said, if you want to select a teacher, you should look for one whose sila, samadhi, and panya are higher than you and than yours, meaning moral conduct, concentration, and wisdom. If there is a teacher whose skill in these three things are higher than yours, then you can honor and respect him as a teacher. Otherwise, you should not. So here the Buddha decided that the Dhamma will be his teacher. So similarly for us, our real teacher is the Dhamma of the Buddha. 6.3. Thus have I heard, on one occasion the Blessed One was dwelling at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. Now on that occasion a certain Brahmin lady had a son named Brahma Deva, who had gone forth from the household life into homelessness under the Blessed One. Then dwelling alone, withdrawn, diligent, ardent and resolute, the Venerable Brahma Deva, by realizing it for himself, with direct knowledge, in this very life entered and dwelt in that unsurpassed goal of the holy life, for the sake of which clansmen rightly go forth from the household life into homelessness. He directly knew, destroyed his birth, the holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being. And the Venerable Brahma Deva became one of the Arahants. Then in the morning, the Venerable Brahma Deva dressed and taking bowl and robe, entered Savatthi for alms. Walking on continuous alms round in Savatthi, he came to his own mother's residence. Now on that occasion, the Brahmin lady, the Venerable Brahma Deva's mother, had been offering a constant oblation or offering to Brahma. Then it occurred to Brahma Sahampati, this Brahmin lady, the Venerable Brahma Deva's mother, has been offering a constant oblation to Brahma. Let me approach her and stir up a sense of urgency in her. Then just as quickly as a strong man might extend his drawn-in arm or draw in his extended arm, Brahma Sahampati disappeared from the Brahma world and reappeared in the residence of the Venerable Brahma Deva's mother. Then standing in the air, Brahma Sahampati addressed the Brahmin lady in verse. Far from here, madam, is the Brahma world, to which you offer a constant oblation. Brahma does not eat such food, lady. So why mumble, not knowing the path to Brahma? This Brahma Deva, madam, without acquisitions, without attachments, has surpassed the Devas, owning nothing, nourishing no other. The Bhikkhu has entered your house for alms. If worthy, knowledge master, inwardly developed, he deserves offerings from humans and Devas. Having expelled all evil, unsullied, untarnished, pure or clean, cooled at heart, he comes seeking alms. For him there is nothing behind or in front, peaceful, smokeless, untroubled, wishless. He has laid down the rod towards frail and firm. Let him eat your oblation, the choicest alms. Aloof from the crowd, with peaceful mind, like a naga he fares, tame, unstirred. A bhikkhu of pure virtue, well liberated in mind, let him eat your oblation, the choicest alms. With confidence in him, free from wavering, present your offering to one who deserves it. Having seen a sage who has crossed the flood, madam, make merit leading to future bliss. Stop here for a while. So here you see, this Brahma is trying to tell this Arahant's mother, you pray to Brahma every day, you offer food to Brahma, it's no use. Brahma does not eat your food. Why don't you offer to your son? He's Arahant. He deserves offerings. He says, for him there is nothing behind or in front. That means he does not cling to the past and he's not worried about the future. Peaceful, smokeless. Smokeless means he has no more fire, the fire of anger is no more in him. Untroubled, wishless. He has laid down the rod towards the frail and the firm. He does not beat or punish the weak and the strong. So, like a naga he fares. A naga is a great big elephant or a huge serpent. So, then finally, with confidence in him, free from wavering, she presented her offering to one who deserved it. Having seen a sage who has crossed the flood, the lady made merit leading to future bliss. That's the end of the sutta. So, Brahma here was very kind to come so far from the Brahma world to tell this lady that you should make offering to this Arahant, your son. So you see, like earlier we read, even like in the case of this mother of this Arahant, once that person, that monk has become a holy person, then he is worthy of even the mother paying respect to him. The mother will bow down to him because he deserves the respect, the reverence. Unlike I mentioned the Mahayana Sutra, which talks about the filial piety towards parents, where they say the Buddha saw this skeleton on the roadside and the Buddha bowed to this skeleton. Now it is just the opposite. The next sutta is 6.4. Thus have I heard, on one occasion the Blessed One was dwelling at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Natha Pindika's park. Now on that occasion the following evil speculative view had arisen in Brahma Bhakha. Stop here for a moment. This Brahma Bhakha, his name is Bhakha. He's a Brahma. And he thought to himself, this is permanent, this is stable, this is eternal, this is complete, this is imperishable. Indeed, this is where one is not born, does not age, does not die, does not pass away, and is not reborn. And there is no other escape superior to this. Let's stop here for a moment. So here this Bhakha is so happy because he's in this Brahma heaven, enjoying life, experiencing bliss, and his life is so long that he thought this world is permanent, is eternal. He will not grow old, he will not become sick, he will not die. And he thinks there's no superior place than his heaven, because he doesn't see there are higher heavens than his. Then having known with his own mind the reflection in Brahma Bhakha's mind, just as quickly as a strong man might extend his drawn-in arm or draw in his extended arm, the Blessed One disappeared from Jeta's grove and reappeared in that Brahma world. Brahma Bhakha saw the Blessed One coming in the distance and said to him, "Come, dear sir, welcome, dear sir. It has been a long time, dear sir, since you took the opportunity of coming here. Indeed, dear sir, this is permanent, this is stable, this is eternal, this is complete, this is imperishable. Indeed, this is where one is not born, does not age, does not die, does not pass away, and is not reborn. And there is no other escape superior to this." And this was said, the Blessed One said to Brahma Bhakha, "Alas, sir, Brahma Bhakha is immersed in ignorance. Alas, sir, Brahma Bhakha is immersed in ignorance, in so far as he will say of what is actually impermanent that it is permanent, and will say of what is actually unstable that it is stable, and will say of what is actually non-eternal that it is eternal, and will say of what is actually incomplete that it is complete, and will say of what is actually perishable that it is imperishable." And in reference to a realm where one is born, ages, dies, passes away, and is reborn, will say thus, "Indeed, this is where one is not born, does not age, does not die, does not pass away, and is not reborn." And when there is another escape superior to this, will say, "There is no other escape superior to this." And Bhakha said, "We 72, Gautama, were merit makers. Now we wield power beyond birth and aging. This knowledge master is our final attainment of Brahma. Many are the people who yearn for us." Let's stop here for a moment. So here he says there were 72 of them. This Brahma Bhakha, he had 71 friends. So 72 of them were merit makers. That means they did a lot of charity. And because of that, he was born as Brahma. Then the Buddha said, "The lifespan here is short, not long. Though you, Bhakha, imagine it is long. I know, Brahma, your lifespan to be 100,000 Nira Buddhas." Let's stop here for a moment. This Nira Buddha is a length of time which is extremely, extremely long. Sometimes the Buddha talks about the hells. Also he talks in terms of this Buddha, Nira Buddha, and all this extremely long spans of time. And Bhakha said, "Blessed One, you say, I am the one of infinite vision who has overcome birth, aging, and sorrow. What was my ancient practice of vow and virtue? Tell me this so I might understand." One moment. So here, this Brahma is trying to test the Buddha. He told the Buddha, "You say you have psychic vision and all that. You tell me about my past. What did I practice in the past to be born as Brahma?" And the Buddha said, "You gave drink to many people who were thirsty, afflicted by heat. That was your ancient practice of vow and virtue, which I recollect as if just waking up. When people were abducted at Antelope Bank, You released the captives being led away. That was your ancient practice of vow and virtue, which I recollect just as if just waking up. When a ship was seized on the river Ganges by a fierce Naga longing for human flesh, you freed it forcefully by a valiant act. That was your ancient practice of vow and virtue, which I recollect as if just waking up. I was your apprentice named Kappa. You taught him intelligent and devout. That was your ancient practice of vow and virtue, which I recollect as if just waking up. And Bhakta said, surely you know this lifespan of mine. The others too you know. Thus you are the Buddha. Thus this blazing majesty of yours illumines even the Brahma world. So that's the end of the sutta. So here you can understand why the Buddha went to this Brahma Bhakka, because a long time ago, this Brahma Bhakka was an ascetic with psychic power, and he did a lot of good deeds, like saving people who were abducted, who were caught. Maybe bandits caught these people on Antelope Bank, and he led the captives away. And then another time, a ship was attacked by this Naga, this snake serpent. He trying to make the ship capsize so that he can eat the humans. And then this, according to this Dhammapada story, Dhammapada commentary, this ascetic, he transformed himself into a big, huge Garuda bird. Then he appeared to this Naga, and when the Naga, this serpent, he saw the Garuda bird, he was so frightened, he flew away, because they are enemies, the serpent, Naga, and the Garuda. So the Buddha said, I was your disciple named Kappa. So you see, that's the Buddha. Sometimes he goes to these people in the heavens, these devas, because of gratitude. Previously, they were his teacher. So now he has become enlightened, but they have not become enlightened. So he thinks he wants to help them. And then finally this Brahma believed him, and the Brahma said, this blazing majesty of yours illumines even the Brahma world. That means the Buddha's light is even much more brighter than the Brahma Devas. That when the Buddha appeared in the Brahma, they could see his brightness overpowers them.